Hi friends, welcome back to Nobody Knows Podcast, dedicated to the ones who are still trying to figure it all out in life. I hope you're doing well. This is your first time listening. Hello, I'm Juliana, and I'm a 29-year-old who has consistently felt lost in life and like I've always been behind as I navigated my 20s. I created Nobody Knows to share my experiences and advice in hopes that we can relate to one another and to normalize that we're all just doing our best to find our way. We also have guests on here to spice things up, offer a different perspective, knowledge, and expertise of figuring it all out. If you have been loving this podcast, make sure you're following on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. And lastly, I would love your feedback for Nobody Knows Podcast, and the best way to show your support is either through a 5-star review on either listening platform. So if you're listening right now, you could just go and tap those 5 stars for me. That would be really, really appreciated. Or you can also write to me directly on either Instagram at Nobody Knows Podcast and on TikTok at Nobody Knows Podcast followed by an underscore. We also have a website, so you can visit nobodyknowspodcast.ca to sign up for our newsletter so that you'll be the first to hear about new episodes, special guests, and exclusive updates. Okay, before we get into the episode, I have had terrible time management skills this week. I keep putting things off, procrastinating to the fullest, and I, of course, left recording this to the very last minute, so we only have a half hour to do this. But we can do it. We can bang it out. It's actually not going to be a long episode anyways. When I was writing it, I was like, oh, this feels short. So I believe that we can get through this, as well as if you're listening to this, then you're down, you're not feeling too hot. So you probably don't want a long episode anyways. Nevertheless, we will power through. We'll get through it lickety split. So every episode we do something that brings us further together and normalizes that none of us have life figured out. Sometimes we review a Reddit submission from a stranger that may be struggling through a life experience, but we share it just in case any of us are going through the same experience and might need support navigating it. Other times we'll hear from you, listeners, and your life experiences. My DMs are always open on socials, like I said. So if you're ever wanting to be on the pod, you can. You can also submit your experience anonymously so that we can still learn. And sometimes we just need to do internal reflection. So then we'll do a journal prompt. Today we're going to do a journal prompt, and you're probably listening to this, as I had already mentioned, because of the title and what it suggests. You're having a bad day, or maybe you're being proactive when you do have a bad day and want to have this in your back pocket for when that happens. But fear not, by the end of this episode, you're going to have faith and the tools to turn your day around if you so choose. And the way to kick things off, I think, to do this is through a journal prompt. I find when I'm low energy, a journal prompt can help motivate me. It also helps to pinpoint uncertain emotions I may be experiencing so that I can stop worrying about them and identify them. So the journal prompt is, what am I most excited about in my life today? What do you have going on today that you can look forward to? And this might be really challenging, especially if you're having a down day, to find the silver lining or find something that's going to bring you joy. And you also might not have something that's going to bring you joy. That's totally okay too. But just take an inventory of your day. See how it feels. Is there anything that you could by chance be excited about? For me, it was recording this podcast. I'm also going to visit my family tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to packing as well as getting on the road and seeing them and just relaxing and hanging out. And then I'm also looking forward to my Pilates class that I am literally about to go to in an hour, hence why I'm rushing through this. And if you're feeling like you don't have anything to look forward to, why don't you create something that you can look forward to? Maybe you'll watch another episode of your favorite show tonight. Brendan and I are currently watching Severance on Apple TV. I'm not sure how to feel about it. Like, I like it. We've made it all the way through to be up to date with where it's currently at now with season 2 it is, right? Yeah. But there's something about it that just like drags on and not in a good way. Like, we just watched the most recent episode, spoiler alert, where the innies find out Helly isn't Egan. I just feel like the episode dragged on. And I'm constantly waiting for like something to happen, and each episode, nothing really happens. So I don't know. But I'm still sticking to it, and I actually do look forward to it, mostly because it's just time for me and Brendan to hang out and we can sit down and watch a show together. Maybe you have a show like that for yourself that gets you excited, jazzed. I feel like Love Island is always a good one to watch because there's so many episodes to watch. Like, there's always something to look forward to with that. I love any type of reality TV, so maybe another reality TV show. If you haven't watched Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Chef's Kiss. There's 5 seasons, so that could last you a while and have something to look forward to. There are so many different shows and movies to watch right now, so maybe you can find some joy there. Or maybe you don't want to watch a show. How about instead you go and buy yourself a little treat at the coffee shop? And now you're probably saying to me, Juliana, I buy myself a treat every single day. Okay, well, today's a new day. Go buy yourself a little treat. It's something just to get you excited about the day. And maybe you go and buy yourself that treat a little bit later on in the day so that for the first half of your day, you're looking forward to it. Or perhaps instead of taking your dog for a walk on the same route that you usually go, you'll play with them in the backyard and try some different games and really get their energy out in a new way, which is probably just going to bring you joy because you'll see them having fun, and that's always exciting to see. It doesn't have to be big, but just something that will give you some joy when you need it today. Now let's move into the actual bulk of the episode and what I think is going to be really important for you to utilize when you're just like so down in the dumps and you're really hard on yourself because you feel like you're wasting the day and you don't necessarily want to waste the day. Again, I'm all for a rot day, but there are nuances of how we feel, and sometimes we don't actually want a rot day. Sometimes we can't take a rot day. So what I'm about to say is going to help you for when you actually do need to turn your day around and be productive and get shit done. I actually used this method last week when I was having a really shitty day. I woke up completely stuffed up. I'm still a little bit stuffy and like phlegmy, gross. I don't think I was sick. I don't know if it's allergies. I can't really pinpoint it, but something's going on. And I think it's mostly due to like our Canadian winters. They're so incredibly dry. I feel like a raisin. I'm just all wrinkly and like shriveled up, dehydrated. I got a little bit of a dry throat, stuffed up nose, raging headache when I wake up. It's not good. I just felt so groggy last week and depressed. Not to mention, I have not gotten a lick of vitamin D here. Like, the sun's out for maybe a couple hours throughout the day, but I'm not actually absorbing the vitamin D, if you know what I mean. Like, my naturopath told me that I should go outside, expose my tummy, and that's the best way to soak up vitamin D, and you'll actually start to see some benefits. How am I supposed to do that in like minus 12-degree weather? It's just not going to happen. So I'm just really struggling right now, as I think many Canadians are, or anyone that's in a really cold climate. It's tough. So last week I snoozed my alarm too, so I didn't get out of bed for like the longest time. Finally got out of bed, dragged my ass to the couch. I was like feeling sorry for myself on the couch, having a pity party, being like, Juliana, almost half the day's gone. You've wasted it. There's no coming back from this. Really beating myself down, calling myself lazy, everything, this, that, and the next. And it finally hit me, something that I remembered from TikTok, I'm pretty sure. If I can find the original post, I will link it in the show notes. This was years and years ago, so I don't know if I'll be able to find it, but if I can, I will. This sentiment has stayed with me since I saw it originally, and it essentially says, think about a basketball game or really any sports game of your choosing. I'm going to use basketball. So a basketball game is broken up into quarters. Just think about like how a sports game is structured. Typically, if it's a soccer game, I think it's 2 halves. Basketball, quarters. So there's chunks of time within the game. And think about how a lot of teams, sometimes they start out losing. They're doing so poorly in the first quarter, the first half, just the beginning parts of the game. They have intermission. They have halftime. They have the break in the middle. Good grief. Brendan's going to listen back to this and be like, Jay. Anyways, they take a break and then they come back, and more times than not, they come back full swing and enough to win the game. They absolutely dominate, crush the other team. Now, if you take that structure of the sports game and apply it to your day, maybe up until noon is like your halfway point, your intermission. And if you want, you can even break up your day into quarters. So like early morning, mid-morning, afternoon, evening, and go about winning those individual chunks of your day versus winning the entire day. We think that we've only won the day if all 4 quarters are successful or both halves of our day are successful, when in reality, we should be satisfied from winning just 1 quarter or like 1 half of the day. We really can't expect ourselves to win a full day every single day, every single week. That is a great recipe for burnout and exhaustion, and not to mention near impossible. I don't think really anyone has the bandwidth for that. But I think it's important to stress this because with all the wellness and self-help content out there, we believe that the whole day has gone to shit if the morning starts off poorly, or if we start the morning off really strong, but then the rest of our day goes to waste and we take more of a restful afternoon. I feel like there might have been more to this post that was on TikTok, but essentially that is the gist of it. It helps you to take some of the pressure off yourself, as well as still feeling satisfied with like more of a balanced day or more of a laid back day. So I'd love to know if you're going to take this into your day now, and if you're going to turn your day around. Maybe you're going to turn around the evening, maybe that quarter of your day, or the afternoon. Who knows? Do it however you want, whatever feels natural to you. But I'd love to know your feedback and if this is actually a useful tip for you. And if you've enjoyed this episode, again, short and sweet, but we love that. Please share it with a friend who might also be having a bad day and who's in need of a pick-me-up and just a different perspective. Again, make sure you're following on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. And let's connect on Instagram at Nobody Knows Podcast and on TikTok at Nobody Knows Podcast, followed by an underscore. And until next time, friends, bye.